Good afternoon. Thank you for choosing to attend Trends, results of the 2015 Inbound Marketing for Higher Education Survey. Today is a very exciting opportunity for us to share key benchmark data in relation to what your peers had to say, as well as trends that are new and next in our marketplace. Just a few housekeeping items before we jump in. The webinar is being recorded and will be shared with all attendees via email. If you do have questions, you're welcome to type those into the question box, and we will answer those as time allows. If we don't answer your question, we will follow up via email. Welcome. My name is Ann Olson. I've worked in higher ed for the past 15 years. 5 years ago, I started Converge because I believed then and do now that marketing is changing and that digital must be on the forefront of everyone's mind. I am joined today by Jay Kelly, President of Converge and Partner, and Megan Beese, VP of Content Strategy, who has worked with clients across the nation on content strategy and inbound marketing projects.
Hello, everyone.
Hi. About Converge. For those of you who are not familiar with us, as I mentioned, we are a digital agency for higher education. We specialize in website redesign, inbound marketing, and digital advertising. We would also like to thank OmniUpdate for their collaboration on this survey. OmniUpdate is a leading CMS provider in the higher education space. Carol Clements, the Director of Marketing, and her team have been incredibly generous with their time and input in relation to the survey. In the next hour, our agenda will be the results of higher education's first inbound marketing survey, our predictions in these 4 key areas. The full version of the survey will be shared at the OmniUpdate User Conference in February. We hope you can join us there. In February, we will also make available an ebook with more information in relation to the research of the survey, as well as additional predictions. So let's kick off with a recap of inbound marketing in 2015. The goal of inbound marketing is simple: to get the right message to the right person at the right time. We've been talking about inbound marketing for the past 4 or 5 years, so you probably have heard a lot about it. Inbound marketing happens through 3 key phases. We call those attract, convert, and delight. The goal is to attract strangers to our storefront, our website, the place where the magic always begins, through organic search, strategic content such as blogs, social media, and digital or paid advertising. Once we have that right person on our site, we need compelling calls to action, landing pages and forms to direct that prospect where to go. Once they are engaged, our job is to keep them delighted through our admissions team's discussions, segmented and relevant emails, and content, and an amazing user experience. So let's get a real-life example of inbound every day. A colossal snowstorm is on its way this week to the Northeast and planning to unload a foot of snow from DC to Philadelphia and New York City. Along with that snow comes the deep freeze that the majority of the Midwest has been experiencing over the past week. 1 degree Fahrenheit. That's the kind of weather that makes you Google, can it be too cold to snow? It's also the kind of weather that inspires you to head south and you're not alone. When a polar vortex hits, warm weather vacation is searched more than 2 times as often, and industry experts know that it's a peak time for bookings. So let's say you're planning a tropical trip to escape the freeze. You start by doing some research into where you'd like to go. Perhaps you search best Caribbean islands or Mexican resorts for families. You might ask your friends on social media or email a coworker. And as you're putting your feelers out there, you probably also notice that the universe seems to be helping you in your query. You start to see more swimming pools and palm trees in your Facebook feed. Your Google results just offered you a discount on a Disney cruise. And the resort that your friend suggested just sent you an email with activities, photos, testimonials, and partner discounts. What is going on here? You've just experienced the attract phase of inbound marketing. In attract, marketers work hard to line up the right messages for the right prospect. It's a waste of time and money for marketers to approach people who are not eager and able to take a tropical trip. Not to mention, too much unwanted messaging can be damaging to their brand relationship. Fortunately for marketers and consumers, there are some fantastic digital advertising technologies out there that allow us to target the right prospect at the right time with the right message. That is what you've experienced when you started your gateway search. These digital advertising tools are all available to higher education marketers as well. In 2015, we saw more digital advertising investment in social media and mobile platforms. Ads were degree program focused with high conversion landing pages. Native advertising tools and technology improved in 2015 as well. So back to our example. You clicked into the resort's email because you noticed that they have a partner deal with an airline and rental car company. That's actually a pretty good rate. You check kayak.com to confirm. Yep, that's a great rate. You forward to your spouse. While you wait for their, of course we should do this response, you start to read the testimonials and look at the pictures. The resort does free yoga every morning, but that might be hard to make because of the live music they offer every evening. Your credit card is out. Why is it taking so long for your spouse to respond? Delight. The other decision maker finally emails you back to tell you what a great idea this is, so you pull the trigger. You fill out your information on their website and mark your calendar. The trip is amazing. They greet you by name and your room is just as you had requested. You take a ton of pictures and brag to your friends on social media. When you check out, you get an email asking you to complete a survey, and when you do, you receive a discount for your next visit. It's all incredibly delightful. The third and final phase of inbound marketing is delight, and in some ways the most important. Do you remember how you heard about this resort in the first place? From a friend that was so delighted with their experience that they recommended it to you? In 2015, Google Analytics, CRM tools, and social monitoring were critical for higher education institutions to understand how they delighted students and where they can make improvements. From first marketing touch all the way through graduation, measurement is instrumental in all phases of inbound marketing: attract, convert, and delight, to understand which tactics are working for your specific audience. Now that we've shared our example and covered the basics of inbound marketing, let's quickly walk through our survey distribution and methodology. This fall, we partnered with OmniUpdate to conduct a very focused multi-question survey. Over 500 individuals responded to the survey from across the world. The majority of those respondents were in the US and representative of most states. Almost half of the respondents work at a private four-year college. 33.9% of respondents work at a public four-year institution. The other representatives worked at community colleges, for-profit institutions, and several others. Many of the individuals who responded to this survey served in similar roles to those on your campus. 44% of our respondents were marketing and communications team members, followed by admissions and executives. We also asked who the primary audiences these professionals were working to recruit. They included graduate students, followed by undergraduate, adult, transfer, and international. Probably very similar to your campus. And as you guessed it, their priorities weren't a surprise. The number one recruitment priority was the number of enrolled students at their institution, followed by the number of applicants, then followed by the number of inquiries. Now I'll transition to Megan, who's going to talk more about the results of our survey.
As Anne prefaced, there have never been more ways to attract prospective students to your website. However, the digital landscape has never been more competitive. Let's start with SEO and see what we've learned from our survey respondents in 2015. Most of us know that SEO means search engine optimization. It's a way to attract users to our website by leveraging what we know about search metrics and trends. The inbound survey asked respondents about their SEO usage and methodology. The data you'll see on your screen shows that 66% of respondents didn't know who was responsible for technical SEO and semantic markup, or weren't doing work in these areas. There's a huge opportunity here for higher education. Technical SEO is critical to Google reviewing, indexing, and reading your website. By fixing these technical errors, you can automatically see a lift in your Google search rankings. Another key takeaway to note from the data is that 64% of respondents aren't or didn't know if they were doing off-page SEO and link building. Off-page SEO is another giant opportunity area. Someone on your campus should own this, and a strategy needs to be in place for how we'll do this. Off-page SEO and link building is truly imperative to your site being found. The inbound survey results showed us how the test group is, or in some case isn't, leveraging SEO. From this data and our work with colleges and universities in 2015, we've developed some predictions for priorities in our 2016 efforts. Our first prediction is more of a focus on user intent and rankings. Over 57% of those survey respondents had staff members or freelancers working on on-page SEO and content optimization efforts. This is really great news. At the end of the day, a well-structured page with thought-out and valuable content that's easy to adjust. And a great resource to check out is Moza's Search Engine Ranking Factor Survey. It's a biannual survey, and the 2015 results are listed here. Our second prediction for 2016 is an increase in thematic approach to search engine optimization tactics. Over 70% of the traffic you earn for any given page will come from keywords you didn't try to optimize for. That's because 15% of all Google searches, over 500 million a day, have really never been seen. As search becomes increasingly competitive, more and more colleges are adopting a thematic approach to keyword rankings. With this strategy, everything works together, your content optimization, your SEO foundation, to build authority. In 2016, we'll continue to see less of a focus on optimizing for single keywords and turn towards that thematic approach with keywords that are most relevant to the content your users are looking for. There's really no denying the need for this new strategic approach in 2016. Our third prediction for the 2016 trends is an increase in semantic SEO. It's the new kid on the block for search engine optimization, and survey data shows that there's a huge opportunity here for higher education. 66% of our respondents did not know who was responsible for semantic markup or weren't doing work in this area. In 2016, we hope to see more schools leveraging the opportunity to reach search traffic through semantic markup. Semantic markup language basically allows us to implement code that search engines can read and translate onto the search engine results page. Take this example before you. It's a Kenny Chesney concert query. The semantic markup that was coded onto that web page allows the actual dates and events of his concerts to translate directly onto the SERP. So think about all the opportunities to leverage semantic SEO in higher education. Our clients at Our Lady of the Lake University in Texas are using the structured data markup through Google Tag Manager. Our Lady of the Lake is putting all of the data that Google and their users want to know about into a little package directly on the search engine results page. In 2016, there's a huge opportunity for colleges and universities to take the lead and define what semantic SEO means for our industry. Less than 35% of our survey respondents, your competitors, are using technical SEO and semantic markup. You have a great opportunity to showcase your recruitment fairs and other upcoming events, or to bring programmatic content directly into the SERPs through semantic SEO in 2016. So what do these trends mean for you? Let's wrap up the SEO portion with some key takeaways. First and foremost, go to Moz.com. It's our go-to resource for SEO. Sit through a Whiteboard Friday session and learn about technical SEO. As we said earlier, 64% of our respondents aren't or didn't know if they were doing off-page SEO. It's a giant opportunity, and someone on your campus should leverage this strategy. Campuses are full of faculty members being published and quoted in major authoritative sources. Those sources are two of the most authoritative in terms of search impact. Think about your strategy for the month of February too. Look at your content calendar and think about opportunities for link building. Identify who your influencers are and leverage those people with great reach and impact online to inform your strategy moving forward. If you have staff members or freelancers working on your on-page SEO, make sure that you're using a tool to track and measure the success. Keyword research is happening, and more institutions will be adding this skill set to their staff capabilities moving forward.
Hello, everyone. This is Jay. I'm going to talk about digital advertising efforts. I want to move on to digital advertising trends we saw in 2015 and predictions and trends we see for 2016. A disclaimer up front, I don't have any palm trees or people doing yoga or pictures of people drinking beer, but hopefully you'll find this section rewarding and worthwhile. So let's move on and talk about some trends that we saw from our respondents. Number one, direct buy, display, and PPC are the largest digital advertising categories that are still currently on staff, ranging from about 18 to 29% of respondents having these capabilities on their staff. The largest freelance and outsourced advertising efforts we saw are PPC and retargeting, followed by display advertising. Retargeting is something that's been around for a few years, and we're seeing some trends in that we'll talk about in a few slides, but that's a really interesting one as well. So a key there is, whether you outsource or add staff, more schools are adding this as a core competency, this display advertising effort. 55% of respondents we saw are freelancing or have a member on staff who are engaging in retargeting, as I mentioned. And much like anyone who's ever bought TV or radio, digital is not much different. It takes an average of a person 3 times or 3 interactions with your brand to really take action. And that's why retargeting is so important, and an effective way to really follow your prospect through the funnel and spend your marketing dollars wisely and be able to track that effectiveness. Another point is very few schools, less than 16% of the respondents we saw, said that they don't need digital advertising. And I'm pretty confident that 16% is not on this webinar. So tip number 1, if you have freelance or outsource to do your digital advertising, or if you do it in-house, ensure that you do a couple of things. A couple of things are really key. Number 1, changing the creative and optimizing, making sure optimizing is always happening. The key with digital advertising is you get that data and you can move to what's working and you can eliminate what's not working. And then as well, ensure that reports are being shared at least once a month and that meetings are to review results and not just reporting of stuff that's overflowing in your inbox. So on this slide, we'll take a look at some social channels from the respondents. So 82% of the respondents are advertising on Facebook. I don't think that's a surprise to anyone on the webinar, followed by Twitter at 50%, and followed that by LinkedIn, at LinkedIn at 47%. Yes, and LinkedIn at 30% of those who responded would like to try advertising on Instagram as well. So 30% are saying, Instagram is something that's interesting to me. So moving on to video. So, there's really been an increase in video ads, and I've got an example to show you as well. But Facebook video viewership has seen tremendous growth. I saw that as of November 2015, they're now reporting 8 billion average daily video views. That's billion with a B, from over 500 million users. That's up from just over 4 billion in April 2015. So video is becoming more and more something that's being used from a number of people. Facebook, so a trend for 2016 and beyond, Facebook has a lot of cool stuff on the horizon when it comes to video. It's testing out a dedicated video feed where users can browse from different channels, videos shared just by friends, videos that are trending on Facebook, and a number of other themes. So keep your eye on using video on Facebook, really doing some cutting edge things. They're also testing a save the video so you can watch it later option, and a picture-in-picture viewing so users can watch the video as they browse their newsfeed. So really cool things. Also with video, don't forget about Twitter. Their video advertising is now out in beta, and it's available through your Twitter reps. And that's making that another channel to help your potential or prospective students engage with video. We expect to see these advancements shift. Emphasis to video more and more in different formats in the coming year. So here's an example of some video we've used for one of our clients, and this is for Winterline Global Skills Program, which is a gap year program. We just implemented this right before the holiday break. And we've already had over 10,000 views from various video ads. And we've also added video to the landing page, which has increased our time on page and increased our conversion rate. So again, video can really be an effective way in that inbound marketing to continue that dialogue and capture someone's attention. So I mentioned retargeting, and I would venture to say that most people on this webinar have been doing retargeting in one variation or another for the last couple of years. But there's been some really good expansions in retargeting that I want to cover right now. So, think about, instead of just retargeting users who visit your website or landing page and don't convert, many third-party companies now are offering behavioral targeting strategies to reach a larger audience. These strategies include targeting users based on their search, based on their browsing history. And say as a user searches a top competitor of yours, you can now retarget that user based on, again, some behavioral targeting strategies. So some really good expansions in retargeting capabilities. Also, Facebook, Twitter, and now Google AdWords offer custom audience targeting that allows you to target users by their email address, their phone number, or their user ID. You can now customize messaging to your prospects with admissions-related content. On the bottom of that slide, I'm mentioning the LinkedIn Lead Accelerator, and that's a lead generation solution that LinkedIn's now providing, which helps you to engage with more prospects, know more about them. As you know, LinkedIn is robust with the information you can get, and convert more anonymous website visitors and ultimately increase lead velocity into your pipeline. With LinkedIn Accelerator, you can now sequence ads and delivering a series of ads based on what you know and where they are in your recruitment funnel. So lots of good, exciting new things on the horizon with retargeting. So I encourage you to check those out. And again, here's some examples of some retargeting that we've used from University of Missouri and Erickson Institute in Chicago. Allowing us to upload lists of prospective students, targeting them on admissions-related ads, application, deadline, events, open houses, things like that. And it's important to understand where the user is at their decision-making process, and then you can message them accordingly and make sure you nurture them throughout that funnel. Another trend we're seeing is increased data layering. When I say data layering, I mean, the more you know about your target audience, the more granular you should be with your digital advertising and your audience targeting. So there's so much data out there. Big data basically is unstructured data. So being able to pull those levers and layer that data in is really a key in what we're talking about in inbound marketing. So in 2016, we anticipate more schools analyzing data of their current students to determine and develop detailed targeted sequence and personas. Data such as age, previous education, job industry, income level, interests, all demographic targeting options that can be layered on top of each other to allow on digital advertising channels and help reach an extremely segmented audience. We find that really exciting. And here's a couple of examples as well from Loyola Quinlan School of Business Executive Education. It's a mini MBA. They knew a lot about their target audience. They knew exactly the type of potential student they wanted to go after, and using data layering, they were able to do that. Increasing that capability with roles, job seniority, what company, age, previous education. The more you know about that prospective student, the more you know where to reach them and what questions to answer to bring them to your institution. Next trend I'd like to talk about is persona targeted advertising and messaging. Personas were huge in 2015 as more and more schools are using those to base their digital advertising and to target effectively. What you actually do once the persona is developed is another question. So what we're seeing now is taking those personas and using them in a broader way than that has been done in the past. Many schools utilize their different personas by targeting all different demographics, but they aren't giving the persona a unique journey. So what we've seen is taking that persona and giving them a unique journey. So this next year, we'll see more schools, we think, customize the enrollment journey by person. We'll use different messaging by persona, different ad creative by persona, and a unique landing page and a customized enrollment follow-up process based on the factors on that most important persona. And here's an example of that as well. Military, we see an ad there and a landing page for, recruiting military. And we also see the same thing for Missouri and recruiting in their executive MBA program. So you can see, again, drilling down, using those personas to really get granular in your targeting. The fifth trend is what we call the A to Z strategy. So continuing on from the persona targeted audiencing, advertising, and messaging, we'll begin to see more schools think more about the whole recruitment process in relation to digital advertising. So not just that attracting, but kind of using digital advertising to pull that student through the funnel. So digital advertising leads take longer to convert into enrolled students compared to leads from your website. obviously, because again, they're just beginning their search. They're asking questions that hopefully you can answer. Leads from your website, more likely they're familiar with your brand. They've done some searching before, so they'll convert at a little quicker pace. Whereas your ads with the first interaction of your brand, they take longer to marinate, so to speak. So schools that have implemented, CRM systems, a good CRM system, they'll make that a priority in 2016. Schools that already have implemented a CRM will take more advantage of customizing that recruitment process by persona and by lead source. And they'll look also at the more automation tools to create workflows that incorporate more emails and engaging content to nurture through the funnel. So the tips we see for digital advertising, in order to get the most out of your digital advertising efforts, whether they be in-house or outsourced, number one, use target audience personas and make sure that you use them throughout the funnel. Layer on different data points to get more granular and more specific in your targeting, and change creative frequently. Do A/B testing, making sure that what works is being utilized and what maybe isn't working as strongly is tweaked and optimized. Understanding the points in the recruitment funnel where to target and what messages to give that person or those people. And review the reports and KPIs at least monthly, making sure that you know exactly what's working and what's not working. And as always with digital, test everything, but not at the same time. So make sure everything stays the same except for one point. Test that point, see if it works, and then move on.
The next digital marketing focus area we asked about in our survey was content. Content's one of the best ways to create an emotional connection and share what really sets your institution apart. Everyone can make a blog, but we asked our respondents about their specific strategic marketing tools. When it comes to strategic content tools, videos were most popular in 2015. We're seeing that trend across the survey responses in all digital marketing efforts, which is pretty interesting. The responses indicate that most of the content planning and creation is happening in-house compared to other categories. But we're also seeing that approximately 20 to 30% of those institutions need to be doing more of each of these items. So these data points support the claim we hear frequently from our clients. We don't have the amount of staff we need to produce the quality of content. We're going to cover just a couple of trends we anticipate for 2016 in regards to content marketing, starting with a shifting in goals and priorities. Smart Insights research showed that top industry goals for content marketing in 2015 focused less on lead generation and selling and more on engagement, so carrying content marketing and strategy throughout the funnel. Content marketing is being leveraged throughout that inbound journey to generate customer loyalty, engagement, brand awareness, and ultimately sales. Data from the Trends in Inbound Marketing survey echoes these trends moving into 2016. The responses showed a consensus that content marketing is actively being used to generate inquiries and build relationships with prospective students throughout their journey. Results show that approximately 75% of higher education marketers are creating, freelancing, or would like to implement content marketing efforts. So those 500 participants, marketers, leaders, creators from colleges and universities around the country, commented on their content marketing activity in this survey. We've seen a push for content marketing across the funnel in 2015 and anticipate that into 2016. With clients like McGraw-Hill Education focusing on new inquiries and creating digital touchpoints throughout the user's journey with their brand. This focus on content marketing goals throughout the funnel allows you to set goals and measure activity in all three stages of inbound marketing: attract, convert, and delight. These efforts echo the survey respondents' sentiment that goals and priorities for content will continue to shift in 2016, and leading with a goal is always the way to go. The second trend we anticipate for content marketing is that content calendars will become basically expected. Tools like content calendars and blog plans are a necessary evil if you want to manage the amount of content that your institution produces. If we want to be able to track, measure, and evaluate the impact of that content, we've got to put a system in place for editorial management. According to the inbound survey results, 65% of respondents are leveraging tools like this: editorial calendars, blog plans, you name it. A spreadsheet outlining your plan for 2016 may seem like a simple solution for a big problem, but an organized content calendar has many benefits that colleges and universities are seeing once implemented on campus. With a content calendar in place, our clients at American University have been able to establish review processes and optimize time and efforts to bring their content calendar to life. We've been using Trello, a digital project management tool, to help streamline communication across their university-wide and college-specific marketing teams. This tool has helped open gateways for communication in their complex government structure, and best of all, it's free. There are so many perks of maintaining an organized content calendar, but just to name a few, it'll help you define ownership of content and ensures consistency in your brand narrative and really simplifies that daily execution to make sure you're optimizing your time and resources. In 2016, we see this being an instrumental foundation to your content marketing. With American University as the example, we've taken that shared Google sheet that I showed you in the beginning of this presentation and provided a record for future evaluation. This has helped them strategically manage and streamline the planning process through our free tool Trello, and ultimately brought those ideas to life with their new College of Arts and Sciences blog. The AU teams have been able to take their goal of launching content marketing for 4 pilot programs and execute on the plan in a strategic way. And it all started with the content calendar. Our third anticipation for 2016 trends is a focus on measurement and performance. We're really seeing this again across the board in all areas of digital marketing. Matt Brown of Moz shared insights during our conference, Converge 2015, on the sheer quantity of content that's out there. He said that 2.5 million blog posts are created every day. An important factor in scaling an enterprise-level content strategy is measurement through analytics. Many of our clients have begun monthly reporting on content performance to measure the impact of their content efforts. Monitoring traffic and how users interact with your website and blog will allow you to understand paths to content and how these messages are disseminated across multiple digital channels that lead back to your website. Viewing content with a focus on measurement and analytics will empower your team to better communicate goals and show ROI of your day-to-day efforts. We predict the measurement will become even more important to content marketing in 2016 as the content landscape becomes increasingly competitive. Our fourth and final trend that we anticipate for content marketing in 2016 has to do with content amplification. What's new and next? We love talking about it here at Converge. So now that we're actively seeing stories told and communicated online in higher education, we're also seeing industry thought leaders like Bentley University, Temple, and others moving toward amplification. Content amplification marries valuable content, earned and owned media, with paid tactics. The content amplification strategy is key for colleges and universities moving into 2016. So how do we make the most of the trends we're seeing in 2016? To get what we want out of our content marketing efforts, we need to get organized and simplify management with free tools and the resources available to us. Leading with a goal and leveraging analytics to show ROI and inform future content efforts is the way to win out in the competitive content landscape moving forward.
Thank you, Megan. And now I'm going to move into the last area of the survey focused on measurement. The majority of measurement is happening in-house. 66% of the respondents surveyed have a current staff member who spends some time on social media analytics, 65% on social media analytics, and 61% on Google Analytics dashboards. More colleges and universities are using their CRM systems not just as a filing cabinet for names, but as a true conversion tool and tracking across their CRM. Only 1/3 of respondents said that they would like to measure with marketing automation analytics and CRM metrics. The majority of these responsibilities are happening in-house. As we think about some of the top tips, tip number 1, write this into someone's job description. Make sure that you have a measurement or an analytics ninja on your campus. Tip number 2, attend trainings, workshops, and conferences to learn more about the power of these tools. Many of you don't outsource this or won't outsource this, and so learning and attending trainings and workshops to benchmark against other institutions is important. Tip number 3, the data you report on is only as effective as the KPI or goal that you are setting up to measure. So make sure that you're measuring against the right goals. Now let's move into some trends on measurement. Trend number 1, moving from data dumps to actual insights. One of the most common issues we see, even in institutions with a strong analytics culture, is the tendency to use analytics as nothing more than a collection of quantitative results measured against a less than solid baseline. These are called data dumps, and they can feel significant as it turns a large number of heads when you announce that traffic to the website increased 210% from the previous month. What does that mean, though? Did you see an increase in the number of enrolled students as a result? Or are people just curious because your team just took the NCAA playoffs by storm? Analytics for the sake of providing a large amount of data is unusable, and some institutions have started to catch on to that fact. In 2016, we will see an increase in the number of institutions defining their goals and visualizing how each of their marketing efforts are contributing to that ultimate goal. Tip number 2, inspecting big picture goals on a micro level. With the usage of Google Tag Manager more than doubling in the last year, more sites have had the opportunity to begin inspecting website activity at a micro level. With how easy Tag Manager makes it to dynamically track events based off all clicks, links, or even scrolls on your site, there is no reason to not begin measuring the impacts of very specific activities on the bottom line. We actually just posted a Google Analytics infographic yesterday on our website that shows all of the things that you can and should be measuring on your homepage. This tool, combined with resources such as Google Analytics content experiments, will allow marketers the ability to measure the impact of button placement, page length, or even content type on goal conversions. Pretty cool stuff. Trend number 3 in measurement, measuring students throughout the funnel. This has already begun to happen through the use of campaign tracking, as well as other efforts to bring offline marketing into the world of analytics. However, 2016 is time to take the next step. Very often the use of analytics will only go to the point of inquiry or login application process. If you're lucky, you have a CRM in place to track users beyond that barrier, but what good does it provide if the two systems are disjoint? We've begun to see institutions attempting to break down those walls between their CRM systems, their website analytics data, and to measure users from the point they first search all the way through enrollment to better understand attribution. Each implementation is custom, but marketing automation tools help in this effort. It is this data that will allow marketers to identify not only where they are receiving the most inquiries from, but also where they are sourcing quality inquiries that eventually turn into matriculated students. In looking at best practices in measurements, we're lucky enough to touch on all 3 of these measurement trends in our recent work with the University of Arizona. With 2 main pages that are driving prospective student traffic, the university marketing team wanted to know how the components on each of these pages drove towards the ultimate goals of completed applications. After analyzing the data, we were able to determine that while the Future Students page had, in theory, more engaging content, it was being used more frequently by admitted students to log into a student portal, whereas the Apply page had been driving a significantly larger percentage of users to application completions. Pretty cool data that tested out our hypothesis. So just to recap some tips for measurement. In order to get the most out of your metrics, identify that champion or person on your campus who really is into measurement and can help you set up good strategic KPIs. Write the role of measurement into someone's job description. Identify what you are measuring first and why it is important, whether it's related to alumni and giving, admissions, or recruitment. And identify experts in higher ed for training and resources on measurement. There are a ton of free resources from webinars to blog posts on Google Analytics and measurement out in the marketplace. 2016, here we come. So the final question that we asked was, where would you spend extra resources? We asked one final question on the 2015 survey. If respondents could have one more thing, what would it be? The majority of folks said staff. We've been fortunate enough to work with some amazing teams in higher ed, from 2-person jack-of-all-trade chefs to agency-style groups with enough staff to fill a football team. But what they have in common is they're ready to learn, experiment, and advance their brands with new technologies and tools. There's some amazing advances coming in digital advertising, SEO, social media, and content marketing, measurement, and likely some other categories that we haven't even begun to think about yet. We're excited to see how higher education institutions are embracing the new and looking for opportunities to grow. That's what makes us so excited to be in this industry. It's what inspires our blogs, webinars, and conferences, and motivates us to conduct surveys like this. We hope this information is helpful and providing some benchmarks, helping you to earmark dollars for resources and make the case for improvements. I'd like to thank Megan and Jay for joining me today for this webinar. And from Converge to you, we hope you have a great year exploring. We hope you'll join our resident analytics, Ryan Lindsay and Rachel Doman from Texas A&M for our webinar next week. It's a great webinar that's focused on Google Analytics and measurement, and I think you'll enjoy some of those real-life examples. We also have a conference coming up in February of 2017 in a much warmer place. We began with warm and end with warm, a much warmer place, Palm Springs, which we're very excited about, focused on digital and inbound marketing for recruitment. If there are any questions, we'd be happy to answer those at this time. One of the first questions that we have is, what is KPI? KPI stands for Key Performance Indicator. A key performance indicator is one of those things that your institution is responsible for measuring or that you want to be accountable to. A KPI should be something that you can look at month over month, year over year, in order to be able to track and assess your progress. Thanks for the question. Are there any other questions? Here comes some more questions. Are content marketing blogs more effective when they are on your own website domain or a separate domain?
Our recommendation is to always house as much of your content as possible within your own domain. That being said, we understand the complexities of higher education structures, and we've worked with several clients to implement tools like WordPress and integrate that within their measurement system.
Great question. Here we go.
Here's a question. Does adding semantic, let me read that again. Does adding semantic tags increase your search engine ranking? Yes, it does.
There's multiple factors that are factored into Google's algorithm. So as we think about semantic SEO and other SEO strategies, it's definitely important to be on the forefront of what's new and next. Semantic SEO and semantic markup is just another great way to attract the eyes that fall onto those search engine results pages. So when you think about Google and how you're looking through the different indexes, think of that content there as advertising content. And if they can see a video or an event calendar, it's just going to increase their chances of clicking on and going through to that information on your website.
Keep in mind, though, that nothing will increase your search engine rankings better than content that answers questions that your prospective students have. So that well-written content is the #1 driver of your rankings.
Yeah. You mentioned that we'd share this webinar with you at the end, and yes, we will be sending out the audio recording along with the slides to your email. So if you registered for this email or registered for this webinar, you will be receiving a copy of the slides as well with the audio recording.
Okay. Well, it looks like that's all the questions we have for today. We really appreciate your time, and we look forward to hearing from you on our next webinar.
Great. And we'll just end on one positive note, not really a question, but last year's conference was great. I'm hoping there'll be a lot of SEO content in 2017. Thanks for that input. Anyone else who has attended a conference or is interested in attending our Palm Springs conference, we love to talk about SEO and all things inbound marketing. It's been a pleasure to spend time with you today. Thank you so much. And Vanessa, we will follow up on your questions specifically. Thanks so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.